Hello, friends. Welcome to Word Wednesday. It's Pastor Blair. Hope you are doing great. Hope you've had a great week. Hope you have loved the white stuff that has been falling in the rain, and it's all just been a sloshy mess. But it's all good, and I just thank you for the opportunity to come in and let me share into your life. Word Wednesday is just a brief time. If you're not familiar with Word Wednesday, is where I share what things that I've been learning throughout the week in my life and in God. And it's a place for me as a pastor just to be real. And hopefully you glean a little something out of it based on things I've experienced. So I was sitting in my office at my parsonage at the and I was reading in Galatians chapter 2, and in verse 20, it says this. It says, "My old self has been crucified with Christ. It's no longer I who live, but Christ lives in me. So I live in this earthly body by trusting in the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me." And this is Galatians chapter 2, verses 20, and I was reading from the New Living Translation. And the idea is this, that the gospel of Christ is all about letting Christ's life shine through us. Ephesians chapter 5, I love it because there's a verse in Ephesians chapter 5 where it talks about how that we are called to be a radiant church. And we can't be radiant unless we let the light that's in us break through. And here's the thing, that light comes through the crack. You may be thinking, I can't do this, I can't do that. And we have all these lists of excuses because of past sins and things that have gotten in the way, or things that we feel like we are unable to do because we listen to either what the world says or what Satan's trying to tell us to get us off track. But the thing is, God uses our mess to make something beautiful. Um, and that's when I realized the fact is, how many times do we refuse to let our light shine for Jesus and to shine it to the world and to help people out because we're afraid to let our light shine. We're afraid to be that radiant church. And when I mean church, the scriptures tells us that the church is more than just a building or a group of people, but it's us individually. And how many times have we been unable to be that radiant church because we've been afraid? Um, and so as I was sitting there reading this and contemplating this, I looked over and I saw my desk lamp, and in my desk lamp is a bulb, and it's just this dark bulb of glass. And no matter what I say to it, no matter what I try to encourage it to do, it's not going to do anything unless I turn the switch. In your home next to your bed, maybe, you have that lamp, and, nothing will turn that ball of glass on, or that LED lights or whatever it may be on, no matter how much you encourage it, no matter what you do, until you flip that switch. And what if it couldn't be done on its own to accomplish it without the power of the wind turbines, or maybe coal or whatever, and so forth. And the thing is this, we are connected to the Holy Spirit, and God has called us to let our light shine each and every day. And that light bulb in my lamp will never work without a power external to itself flowing through it. This is not a flaw, but it's a design to be connected to that electrical outlet or to a battery source. And we are called to be connected to God through the power of the Holy Spirit. And when we do that, that is when our light can shine. A lot of people live their lives in this kind of darkness. They have the right makeup. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's, sometimes I find myself in that darkness too. I have the right makeup to accomplish things of significance, but wonder why I never do, or when they maybe, or some of you maybe, why you never do. And maybe there are religious people and they try their best to do good works, but they find that good never works despite the power and effort they put in. And I feel like that's because we let things trip us up. You know, we are maybe trying to climb their, trying to climb our own ladders and all this other stuff. And the message that we are told in that verse that I read um, is that the gospel is presented clearly that we are Christ, and we, through Christ sacrifice, we are called to let Christ be shown through us and how we live and how we act. And remember that if God called us, God has equipped us, and we have the right stuff. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but it's going to be better than us trying to do our own path and our own thing that we haven't been called to do. Paul famously wrote, "I'm crucified with Christ, nevertheless I live, yet not I, but Christ lives in me." And it's good to know that Christ lives within us through the Holy Spirit. So when we try to rely on ourselves, we find only discouragement and frustration. And that's what I find a lot. I have a lot of great ideas, a lot of big dreams, but when I rely on my own self, I find a lot of discouragement and frustration because of not putting God in front or not seeking God's wisdom and just taking that idea and going with it. And when we turn to Jesus, we have more than we could ever ask and think of. Self-righteousness, trying to earn our place with God, is never going to be a success because we were designed to be connected to power, and that power is the power of the Holy Spirit. So I encourage you every day to be connected with God, the ultimate power source, and let the light of Christ shine out and into this needy world. So I hope you have a great rest of the week. Take care, God bless, and remember, the best is yet to come. Hope you can join me next week. Take care.